Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and more importantly, good morning, graduates. It's my pleasure to introduce to you today our honorary degree recipient, Mr. Alex Usher. Alex has spent his career advocating on behalf of students and post-secondary systems around the world, although I'm guessing from a graduate perspective, many of you haven't heard of the important work he's done. So I'm going to take a few minutes and just highlight some of that work. Alex is an internationally recognized expert in student financial aid and quality measurement in post-secondary education. His research and consulting work has been conducted around the world. He's founder and principal of Higher Education Strategy Associates, which is a globally engaged higher education consulting firm that works with governments, institutions, and policymakers for the betterment of post-secondary education systems and ultimately students. He has influenced governments and government policies since graduation, when he became the first executive director of the Canadian Alliance of Student Associations. As director of the Educational Policy Institute Canada, he managed the Measuring the Effectiveness of Student Aid project for the Millennium Scholarship Foundation, which was a 4-year, $4 million research study to investigate the long-term impact of student aid. In 2002 and 2004, Mr. Usher co-authored a piece called The Price of Knowledge, which is considered the standard reference on student finance and student financial aid in Canada. Most recently, he's written the theme document for UNESCO Europe's meeting on higher education, 10 years back and 10 years forward, development and trends in higher education. He sits on a variety of advisory, supervisory, and editorial boards in Canada, Europe, and Asia. President Whitaker, Mr. Gray, it is with great honor and pleasure that we ask you to confer upon Mr. Alex Usher this Bachelor of Applied Studies degree. I now invite Alex Usher to address the class of 2017. Alex.
So, as Andrew just said in his altogether too kind introduction, I'm a higher education specialist, and I have to say, we rarely get to talk to this many people. Well, I've been in this business for almost 25 years now, and although I've held lots of different roles, they've all centered around one thing: making sure that as many students as possible graduate from the best possible colleges and universities. I live to see people graduate, and so I'm absolutely thrilled to have been invited to share this day with all of you. Graduation is a tiny, fleeting moment in our lives. It's beautiful, it's fragile, it's full of pride, because you've just finished the hardest thing you've ever done. It's even full of arrogance, because you didn't just finish that, you nailed it. And now you can take on anything. But it's also a moment of loss. Loss of the daily routine, coming to school, a mix of studying and goofing off with friends. A bittersweet moment. You're cherishing friendships while at the same time knowing you'll all be moving on to new challenges. It's a moment of excitement, because it's a great big world out there. And with your diploma from Humber, you know you've got a ticket to go out and tackle it and make your own way. And it's also a moment of terror, because you realize, holy cow, I got to make my own way. And that's more or less true for everyone. But here's where you guys are special. You're graduating from Humber. Now, I write about higher education for a living, and the things I write about most are really about how's Canada different? What does Canada do better than anybody else? And one of the places where Canadian higher education really is different, and I think better, is when it comes to community colleges and polytechnic institutes like Humber. And I'm going to echo some of what Chris just said here. There are really no institutions in the world quite like Canadian polytechnics. Yeah, you know, in the United States, there are hundreds of community colleges, but they are nowhere near as large, as technologically and pedagogically sophisticated, or as connected to employers as Humber is. Yeah, there are places called polytechnics in Europe, and they do some applied research the way that Humber does, but they're really, pedagogically, they're universities, just not very good ones. Humber and other polytechnics here in Canada have spent the last 20 years carving out a new and distinct type of education. And I think Chris probably described it better than I could, but to me, what's characterized it is that it's rigorous, it's dynamic, it's professional, it's high knowledge, and it's applied. And the fascinating thing about polytechnics is they move very, very quickly. They're occupying new niches and teaching things faster than universities are. Nobody else can occupy new niches. And that's why if you look at the newest professions out there, they tend to be stocked with polytechnic graduates. And so I just want you to know this. Your alma mater is one of a very small number of truly unique educational institutions. And for modern career preparation, there are few places that compare. So congrats on having chosen Humber, and definitely congrats on having finished it. Now, before I forget, there's some other people who need congratulations here in the audience. Parents, there's some parents here, right? I know, students have been working here, some of you for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, but parents, they've been waiting for this for over 20. So parents, take a well-earned bow. You've deserved it. You deserve some applause too. So this is the spot in most commencement addresses where the speaker says something, from their own experience to inspire people as they head out to the world. It's where Steve Jobs, if you've ever seen Steve Jobs' commencement address to Stanford in 2005, that famous phrase, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Steve wasn't available today. And I'm just a guy who writes about post-secondary education. So I'm going to confine myself to giving you 3 little pieces of advice. And the first one is this. Today's a day to celebrate the end of one educational journey, one journey of learning. But the truth is, you're about to head out into a much bigger one, and a more exciting one. The first few years you spend in the job market, new experiences come at you at high speed every minute of every day. It's like drinking from a fire hose. You're going to have to go into the offices and workplaces and act as equals with teammates who've been in the workplace 5, 10 years. That's going to call on a lot of your skills as an actor. Trust me, everyone fakes it a bit. But mostly it's going to call on your learning skills. When people tell you that what's important about your education isn't the substance of your specific courses, but your ability to learn how to learn, they weren't kidding. You're about to learn that in a very big way. And so here's my first piece of advice to you. When you're out there looking for jobs and you're deciding where to go, I think there's one absolutely foolproof rule to follow. And that is, go to the jobs where you're going to learn the most. Find the bosses who can teach you the most. Find the teammates who can teach you the most. Almost anyone who's successful will tell you it's because of 1 or 2 great bosses that they had before they were 30. Go find those bosses. Go work for them. You won't regret it. The second piece of advice here is to make sure you take the time to give back. I know you're all going to take some time to establish yourselves in your career, right? Take care of yourself first. But though you need to concentrate a lot on that in the next little while, don't forget to do good for the larger community. Work hard, take pride in your work, have integrity, and when you invest in yourself, make sure you're also investing in others. Don't just think about having a job yourself, think about how you can create jobs for others. Your communities, whichever communities you belong to or choose to belong to in the future, they need you. They need your talents and your energies. Give of those generously. And my third piece of advice is this. We're sitting a couple of miles from one of the great trade routes in Canada. 350 years ago, the Humber River, the one that your school's named after, was part of a trade route that stretched back into the interior of Ontario, through Lake Simcoe, down into Lake Ontario, out to Quebec City, and through there to Europe. Right? It was part of what was known as the carrying place by the Huron, the Iroquois, and the Mississauga First Nations. Some of the oldest settlements in the region were downstream, close to the mouth of the river, not too far from the Lakeshore campus. So the place that we are now, the place your campus is named after, has a long connection to the rest of the world. And for centuries, we've been attracting people here. Until now, we're a metropolis of millions, and known in some quarters as the most diverse city in the world. And that makes us feel pretty good about ourselves. And we even give ourselves little phrases to talk ourselves up, like the world needs more Canada. Now, here's my advice. Don't believe that for a second. The world needs more Canada is one of the most complacent phrases we have in this country. It's one that says people should come to us, not us to them. And sure, Canada's a pretty good place, better than most. I know I wouldn't trade it for anywhere else. But the world's a big place. There are places that are brighter, crazier, faster, denser, busier. Go see them all. Live in a couple of them if you can. And I don't say this just because you'll learn something about that place and the people who live there. I'm not saying it because I think you'll learn something about Canada by going abroad, though you will, and mainly what you'll learn is nobody knows us. We're kind of insignificant to many people. But you'll learn about yourself. You'll see the wonders of different cultures and civilizations. And most importantly, you'll have a blast. You've got a chance to go out there and take on the world. So go do it. And when you get there, tell them you're from Humber. Congratulations to all. Thank you very much, and good luck.